Hey guys, welcome to Clockwork Noodles for your wrap-up, the Spring Anime 2023 wrap-up, where I'm going to go through fun anime awards. They don't count for anything, they are just my personal opinion. Last season we did them, I had so much fun, and I've carried it over to this season because I really enjoyed giving out some awards and telling you guys roughly what I thought of this season as a whole. Then we're going to do a top three. The top three was really difficult because at one point I was 100% I knew what number one was. I was like, this is the show, I'm putting it in number one. A few things happened and it started to drop a little bit. I've ended up with the list that I've got, and I will of course discuss that when we get to that section. A big massive thank you to everybody who was following my channel. I wouldn't be able to do this show without you guys. The show relies on me being able to discuss things with you guys reacting to the stuff that I do. So thank you guys so much, because we have hit 700 noodlings in the noodle bowl. This is a huge achievement for me. We've done that a few months before my actual goals, so thank you guys so much. If we can hit 800 by Christmas, I will be a very happy bunny. I've got a lot of things coming your way for the next season, and I'll discuss that after I've done my big review. Season has been a bit of a weird one anyway. Initially, I didn't have too much I was that into. Let's just start with my underrated gem, a gem of the season that I really want to discuss. It's gonna go to why Raeliana ended up at the Duke's mansion. Fourth attempt for a manhwa adaptation. So far, I have watched all four of them, and I'm very glad. This is my favourite adaptation so far. It's not rushed. The pacing is very, very nice. It's actually got a very big mystery going on, and I've been discussing recently what I think is actually going on in the show. It is actually an isekai, and after my book that I love romance novel, the girls died in the real life. There's a lot of mystery surrounding that as well. I've got a few ideas, but I definitely recommend you guys checking it out. Enough of a mystery there for you to start trying to piece things together on why certain things are happening in the way that they are. There's also another character who is very integral to the plot, and I've got theories around them as well. A fun award to a living legend, a character who has ascended best boy. This living legend is going to go to Leif Erikson from Vinland Saga. Living legend. He has been a character who has been searching for our main character for 2 seasons. He's never given up. He's also started to congregate some people around him. He looks after them. We've got Bug-Eyed Thorfinn, who is the IKEA version of Thorfinn, who he looks after. I see him like a dad to him. There's cuddling going on with these two. I love these two. I think they are fantastic. He even goes back to Catil's farm to go and check out. Maybe this could be him. You know, it probably isn't, but I don't want to leave any stone unturned. Ends up buying everybody's freedom out of our main group. He's such a caring character. He's ascended best boy because he's not in the show too much, doesn't get too much screen time, but when he is, everything he does is amazing. I'm going to award a best romance for the season, and that is going to go to Yamada. I'm in love with this show. I don't normally give romance much of a look in when it comes to awards or even my top threes. This season we had quite a few of them. We've had maybe about 5 different romances come out. Yamada was the one I ended up really resonating with. I'm not the biggest romance lover, but when they're there, if they're done correctly, I can be their top fan. The colours, the characters, how much of a funny edge it had as well. It wasn't just a simple, I like you, let's go out with each other. There's a lot of build-up, there's a lot of moments which are actually funny. In most animes, sometimes romance animes, you go, oh, that's a bit much. I think the character would actually be more annoyed than anything else. Yamada does get annoyed. There's a few moments where he even threatens to call the police. A bit more of a realistic perspective. The confession arc isn't yet. We're not there yet. It's got a very nice pace to it. Characters are great. And Yamada is just a fantastic character as well, because an introvert. There's a lot of moments where we get to see him dealing with being an introvert, being a pro gamer and what it means to be a pro gamer. Give an award to the most buff gym bod. Last season, I gave it to my boy. Go to Nye Million Knives from Trigun. It has been usurped by somebody who even more buff, and it's going to go to Mash from Mashal. He's so buff that he scares the wildlife. He has his own form of magic, muscle magic as he calls it. I want to give an award for the best mystery anime of the season, going to Heavenly Delusion. Very cleverly hiding a plot under a plot. It took me quite a while to realise that what I was watching was the past and the present. At one point I think they're simultaneous, but they're not. There's a lot of hidden bits. You need to rewatch the show over and over to pick up on every single hint, every single clue. It reminded me of a very old anime. I don't remember what it's called. It's very much around the idea of paradise. What happened if you had a group of children away from the main world? Mature themes start arising, especially in that anime and in this anime in particular as well. This is mystery done right. At the time of filming, I've got 1 episode to go. I still don't 100% know how this anime is going to finish. There's a lot of theories that it might be a season 2 job. There is a mature warning for this anime. There's a lot of really nice fight moments. There's a lot of nice choreography going on, a lot of nice animation. I still have no idea what's going on. some drooling over environment and lighting. You guys know me, I love light, I love environment. It's going to Insomniac's After School. Beautiful nightscapes, especially with the astrophotography element. There are some absolutely gorgeous colours going on. There's some proper starscapes going on. Someone went through some of the backgrounds of this show. They've put in all of the constellations that you can see in there, so they're not just putting stars willy-nilly everywhere. The colours are nice, the pacing is nice. There's a lot of really nice romance build on this one as well. It's a romance, but it's supposed to be a good hard look at the idea of insomnia and mental health, which just doesn't get addressed. The term insomnia comes up a lot over here, but I've never really seen it come up in anime very much. Whether that's more of a case that I just don't want to bring it to the forefront or not. It's a really good anime for colour. Hopefully showing you a flick collection of some of my favourite screenshots. It's one of the best looking animes of the season, so definitely give it a chance. I'm going to award my guilty pleasure, a character I really shouldn't like but always do. If you've been on the show long enough, seen me break one of these seasons down, you know who it is. It's Ogata from Golden Kamui. Such a enigma to me. At one point I thought he was pure chaos. Now I have revoked that idea. I'm going down the lines that it was all planned. He knew what he was doing and he is working alongside our main antagonist as a double agent. 180 on what I think is going on with him. He's just a character I really enjoy looking at on screen. There was a line this season which made me just shiver because he said it and I was like, oh, someone else watching the show, I went to speak to them afterwards about that scene and it was like, oh, I didn't even pick it up. That well hidden, that little sequence was just popped in. I want to crown 2 different animes for anime that made me seriously cry. There's 2 different moments, so let's go into the first one from Vinland Saga. Welcome Home, Gadir and Arnheid. It was so well done. The way that they had also built the entire section up with all of that symbology going on. Full scene, you'll have to hit up my review on that because I've gone into that properly. Character passes over, but the way that they do it and the way that she answers him, it made me bawl, it made me lose it. It was such a beautiful moment that I had to shed some tears. It was so well done. The second anime was Heavenly Delusion. Thank you for letting me die a human. That line enough is quite powerful, even if you don't know what's going on, but I can say that scene, because it came left field, I wasn't really expecting it. So much power behind it, and that line, both of these moments to me were just emotional. They were so well handled that they deserved that kind of reaction. So those are my moments that made me cry this season. Final 5 awards, starting from Best Villain. Best Villain of the season is going to Captain Leaky Brain or Lieutenant Tsurumi from Golden Kamui. One of the best antagonists written of the season, but it goes under the radar because Golden Kamui just doesn't have the following that any other anime does. So well written, people love the character. People are in love with the character because of how well written he is. Manipulative, he is also everybody's best friend. He is that very scary character who could probably get you to commit murder without you even realising what you're doing because you love this guy so much. He is charismatic, such a scary villain. You could imagine him in the real world and how much damage he could probably do because of how charismatic he is. He could charm anybody and get them to do dark things. Dynamic character when he's on screen. It's no wonder that he sat in Best Villain position. Couldn't award it to anybody else because of how well he is written. Let's go into Best Girl of the Season. We're going for Akane from Yamada because I love this character to pieces. She's dealing with real life. She's dealing with balance. She's had a breakup. She's trying to be a better person. I love the fact that after her breakup, she's upset, but she's not also angry. She's trying to work out why it happened. She blames herself. She's trying to figure out, if I am to have another relationship, how can I improve myself? I love her relationship with her best friend. Those two are fantastic together. Seeing her talking to everybody in the guild as well equally. She takes even just being backstabbed a little bit at one point in the show very, very well, very, very mature. And then when she gets sick, she tries to handle it all herself. I see her as a selfless character. I really can't wait to see more of Akane on the screen. Next up is Best VA. The VA is going to Thorfinn's voice actor, which is Uemura Yuto, because of how powerful the voice acting was this season. The crying, powerful speeches directly to the king, where you've got nothing more than a slave speaking to a king. Absolutely powerful, absolutely just emotionally charged. I said in the anime as well when I broke it down, I wonder if he actually got emotional when doing some of these lines, when he was maybe seeing his mother again for the first time in 2 seasons. Such a powerful voice acting role was given that, again, I want to award the voice actors because it's very easy to forget the talents that make the shows. Want to give an award to the voice actors a bit more every single season now. He was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Best Boy, which is also going to Thorfinn because of the show that we've had, the amount of character growth that we've had. Thorfinn has gone from an angry bull of revenge, someone who has got a very high kill count, to somebody who believes in pacifism within the Viking realm. Something you don't really associate with the Vikings. You don't think pacifists when you think Vikings. I've really enjoyed watching him grow and grow, to stand up for himself, to decide that I don't want to hurt anybody anymore. I don't want to do this. I want to create a place for people who just don't fit in. So Thorfinn is winning Best Boy for me this season. Last but not least, the one which I always seem to struggle to award is Husbando. This season, I am giving it to 2 characters because I really couldn't divide the 2, but I'm going for different traits with both characters. First up is Noah from Why Raeliana Ended Up in the Duke's Mansion, just because he's just that dark, mysterious, but he's got a very sassy attitude. I appreciate the sass. I love the sarcasm with him. He's able to go toe to toe with her often enough to be quite sarcastic. The moment where he thinks that she's expecting a dragon and he makes a big old play with it and everything. But then we can see him be quite vulnerable at times. There's moments when he's vulnerable with her, which is really nice. Definitely going to Noah. The voice actor is, of course, the guy from Villainess, Last Boss. He was the last boss. He's also the guy from Rage of Bahamut, is the prince. He's very much known for playing deep-voiced princes or deep-voiced characters. He's Al-Hytham in Genshin Impact. I love Al-Hytham. Next door to Kazuha and Kaya, he is my other character who I main. I love all of them. I've got a bit of a joke right now that I keep breaking his ankles on the bouncy mushroom daily mission. Poor guy gets his ankles broken daily because I miss those mushrooms. The second husbando of the season is going to Snake from Vinland Saga. You guys know me. I've been kind of on the edge of this guy. I love his character. Controversial character, of course. I'm intrigued by his backstory. I'm intrigued by his look. I love the sword that he uses. I think he's also a very fair character, and a lot of the times we see him trying to be fair, trying to give up his life for his men. He sees it as a lost cause, but he will do what is honourable. He doesn't have to help at the final battle with Catil, but he chooses to because there's a sense of honour within him not to abandon everybody, and he doesn't want to see his men die. Oddly enough, I've put 2 dark head characters here, which is just, that's technically my norm. Normally, I kind of go for those darker head characters, but last season I gave it to Nai, who had blonde. I either go for the dark head brooding character, or I go for the mysterious, cold, blonde head character, or the god, or the kami. I think Sesshomaru. Those are my awards for spring 2023. We're now going to go into top 3. Got a honourable mention, which is going 2 shows, and a dishonourable mention. I say dishonourable, but I want to call it disappointment as opposed to dishonourable, because there's too much negativity with dishonourable. I want to say I'm just disappointed it didn't live up to the hype. It's going to The Marginal Service. It is what it is. Most people know it's got a 5 out of 10 rating. So much hype, and it just turned out to be absolutely nothing in the end. Okay, it's just a Men in Black ripoff with no real plot, no real character to build, no nothing. All it's got going for it is a star-studded cast, which they wasted. So that's all I've really got to say for that show. My honourable mentions, they are going to Why Raeliana Ended Up in the Duke's Mansion. As I've already said a bit about this show already, wasn't expecting this show to hook me like it did. There's a mystery going on here, and I want to know what's going on. Often enough, I feel really bad for Noah because he's been played by a very sassy Raeliana. At times, you can see him starting to feel a bit more vulnerable, kind of feel like he cares for her a bit more, and it irritates him that he cares for her, but she's playing him. It's not your typical romance anime where they fall head over heels quite quickly. She's playing him to make sure that she doesn't die in the plot. She doesn't want to go to suffer her fate. Once that's over, you can see initially she's actually trying to break off the marriage. It's going to be interesting to see where they go, because I've been told by this manhwa that it's based on, it gets very twisty. So I really hope that we do get a second season. That would be amazing. Second one in honourable place, which was almost first for such a long time, Heavenly Delusion. This show was, up until last week, going to be my first place. It was stuck. I had it written down. There's no way anything can top this show for me. But we had that controversial episode 11 with the word that YouTube does not like, but it's the non-consensual stuff going on. Kind of sour it a little bit for me because I felt like it came out of nowhere. But then with this show, it probably didn't come out of nowhere. It's probably been highlighted this whole time. There's probably a lot more going on. Aside this one episode, this anime for me is an 8 out of 10 mystery anime. This anime is solid. The animation is solid. The characters are funny. There's really nice moments. World is very well developed. It's beautiful. I just feel a bit weird putting it higher on the list. Otherwise, it probably would be in third place for me. This anime's got some very beautiful world building. It is post-apocalyptic, but then we've got the flipping back to the second storyline. There's A and B storyline going on. The B storyline eventually merges into A. You've got very well connected worlds, and all the characters within those worlds, you start to really get a feel for them, especially our main two characters who you're following around in post-apocalyptic Tokyo, which is really interesting to see more of a Mad Max style kind of anime come out. I do like a bit of post-apocalyptic. It's fun. Such a unique mystery. As I said, there's subtle hints all over the place. A few people said it was the Promised Neverland following up because of how interconnected it really was. Lots of fantastic moments where you just get the rug pull about 5 billion times per episode. Really do recommend this anime. Just go into it knowing that it's a warning from me. There's an episode which you're probably going to be a bit with. If you can put that aside and you can factor in how amazing and how solid the story has been, I really do think you're going to have a good time with this anime. Definitely check out Heavenly Delusion. Third position is going to Demon Slayer. Oh my goodness, I'm putting it in third place. I feel like I'm committing some kind of cardinal sin here. There has been a big change from my top 3 to my top 3 now. This was in first place at the midways. This is now in third position. I love Demon Slayer. You guys know me, I love Demon Slayer. This season for me just wasn't the same standard as the rest of the seasons. I really enjoyed that second arc with Tengen. The entertainment district was amazing. The movie itself, The Mugen Train, made me cry. I couldn't really get behind this season very well. For me, I felt like there were pacing issues. One moment it's really almost standstill plot. Next minute we're fighting, but then there's moments in the fight where it just goes on for episode after episode. Or there's a bit when the Hashira is in the water and he even says quite early on, I'm running out of breath, I've got no more breath left. But an episode later, he's still there holding his breath and he's able to pull out some good moves. I get it, they are Hashiras with really good powers and everything, but we've also seen Hashiras though being human at the same time. Last episode for me definitely saved it. It put it into the third position because it was almost in honourable mention. I ended up swapping this one with Heavenly Delusion in the end. I just felt like it wasn't the strongest season. I felt like we'd done a bit more diving with the other Hashiras as opposed to these two. I liked the background for the Mr. Hashira. I thought that was really well done and it really made me feel for the guy because he couldn't remember anything. It's quite a painful background that he's gone through. The Love Hashira was very quickly done. I felt like we could have done a bit more with deep dive with that one. Whether there's more in the manga that they've kind of skimmed over and had to do this with. I just felt like the season itself could have been a bit more flushed out. It had a fantastic sound score, fantastic voice acting. The last episode was a win for me. The first episode was a win for me. Doing those 1 hour episodes, I think really helped it because it was able to get a bit more of a better pacing going on those 2 episodes. Everything in between kind of dunked the score a little bit for me, but definitely well deserved for third place for me. Definitely worth watching. Really can't wait for season 4 because again, this show is really good and I really want to know where it's going to go. Second position, we're actually going to give it to a romance anime. It's going to go to My Love Story with Yamada at level 999. You probably got the hint from my awards, what was probably going to be in the top. I am in love with this romance. I don't fall for romance very often. Romance very rarely shows in my top 3s. This romance show ended up just connecting with me. I was finding myself squee moments inside. I was squeeing and there were moments where it cliffhangered and I wanted to know what was going on. It's so nicely paced. It's not rushed or anything. They're building. We're not just suddenly, I love you, I love you. I hate that. I hate it when I love yous come out of nowhere. It makes no sense. Up until this time of filming, there hasn't been I love yous at all. There's been no kisses, no hugs, no nothing. Hugs, but not hugs, if that makes sense. Up until this point, it's not been in your face, overly sweet, sugary fluff. The anime is well paced. The characters are well written. Everything looks really nice. The show is really nice. It deals with life quite nicely, where you've got Yamada in school, dealing with being an introvert. You've got Akane dealing with having a job, trying to get over having a breakup. I really think it handles these themes quite nicely, so I definitely feel very proud putting my first love story into a top 3 ranking as well. Also noting that Raeliana being in honourable position is my first isekai to actually make the top 3 block. And the honourables for me could easily be on that list depending on any other season that they're in. Well done to Raeliana for actually getting on the list and as well being a manhwa getting on the list. In first position, and I'm so sorry, this is obviously the anime that I've got the most enjoyment out of, the anime that I really like. Everyone else's is going to be different. I can imagine that the idol anime, Oishi, is probably going to be top for most people. This is my top. This is going to Vinland Saga Season 2. I understand people don't like it for the pacing. I as well agree that there's moments which are too slow, but I think the writing is the best best writing I've seen all season. I think the characters have such big developments. There's so much character development going on. We have a lot of cast going on, but every single one of those casts feels developed. Every single one of those casts, they have their ups, they have their downs. There's controversial moments with certain characters. Development with Thorfinn and Einar, that is just a world-class moment for me. At one point, Einar wanting to kill Thorfinn, to now they call each other brother right at the end. That gave me tingles. Music, I've gone through the music in my breakdowns if you're curious. The music does so much for the show. It carries the show. It also relays what's going on the screen. The animation is beautiful when it happens. It's quiet. The backgrounds feel nice. Really slice of life-y. If anything, it's Vinland Saga with slice of life thrown in. It's still Mappa, and as much as you love or hate Mappa, I do believe that they've done a really nice service to Vinland Saga this season. The quiet moments where they are just sitting around sharing a pot of whatever it is they're cooking, and they're just talking and laughing at one another. They feel real. Those moments feel real. And the moments where we have characters breaking down, or Thorfinn dealing with his trauma, his PTSD, going inside and having all those really dark, red, flashing, violent images, being haunted by the lives that he has taken. It's an anime that deals with something that thankfully no one hopefully has any relevance to. None of you guys relate to having a body count as high as Thorfinn's. Hopefully. Deals with the idea of pacifism and deals with slavery, and I think it deals with these very mature themes in a very, very good, well-written manner. Honestly, hats off to the guy who wrote this. You are amazing. I think you've done something very special with this show. Happy that we've got this season 3 green light, but it's probably going to be a while now. He takes his time writing and they take the time developing it. And I think with a show like this, I don't want you to rush it because I feel like we are going somewhere. Honestly, this has been the show that I feel it is the most deserved of this top spot. I think the writing is amazing, the animation is amazing, the character's amazing, the storyline's amazing. Yes, it's slow in places. That's probably my only qualm with it. I think it's the only issue I've got. Vinland Saga came in at a 8.8 out of 10 on Mal. With me, when it comes to my top 3, how much enjoyment I've had, how much I've fun talking to you guys. Sometimes you'll notice that it goes to the shows I'm breaking down because I have fun talking to you. It enhances my enjoyment of a show because I get to discuss it with you guys. It's been such an interesting season. There's been a lot of nice hidden highlights going on. There's been a lot of shows that I've just enjoyed, but they haven't been nothing to really shout home about, but they've been good. I think we've had a lot of solid shows. Golden Kamuy came back. Didn't really make the list at this point because there was so much other stuff going on. I've had a lot of fun this season, so I can't wait. And of course, Vinland Saga making number 1 now joins the shortlist with Trigun Stampede. All 4 shows that end up in number 1. Onto a shortlist final season, I'm going to give you as well my anime of the year. It's all personal anyway, so we'll have to see what other shows end up joining that shortlist. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you are excited as I am for the next season. We've got some horror anime coming to the channel. We've also got my new feature where I'm breaking down 12 animes, which I already consider really good. Episode 1s. We're going to go through my favourite animes of all time. We're going to go into the episode 1s. Some of these shows I haven't seen in decades. So we're going to go, does it hold up? Do I remember it being as good? I'm going to point out what I really like, what the anime does really, really strong. K at some point on the channel because I have to talk about the animation on that one. I think it still holds up even today. Really can't wait to bring that new feature to you because hopefully as well, you guys get to learn a bit more about me, what my favourite animes are, and I get to show you some animes that you may have missed if you are new to the anime watching. If you are watching seasonal, you're not going to have watched any of these because they're older animes. I think the most newest anime on the list is about 3 or 4 years old. Thank you so much. We're going to say goodbye now to spring. You've been amazing. Onwards to summer. Have a great day. Look after yourselves and thank you so much. Bye bye.